in limbo. In the story of Inception, the protagonists, Dom and his wife, are found stuck in limbo. And in this state, they are unable to exit this limbo state without waking up. And so Don comes up with a plan to convince his wife to die on the train tracks. Well, today, this feeling of being in limbo might be you. As you think about transiting in your current job, you're wondering if what you're doing in your current job is even worth it. You're thinking about things like how you find a new job. You might be even thinking about how to exit whilst surviving. This state of limbo is extremely painful, and whilst we don't want to end up being in a place like Dom where he has to kill himself and his wife to exit limbo, surely there must be a better way. Today I wanted to share with you this idea of limbo and why it is so difficult for us, but more importantly, 5 ways we can approach the state of limbo better in our jobs. Because today, when you are in limbo, you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going, and most importantly, you don't feel like you're moving. Like this pair of shoes on a line, you don't feel like it's possible to even move anywhere. You don't find that sense of progress. You write letters and send out CVs, but you don't feel like anyone even bothers to get back to you. Or you might feel like you don't know like where you want to apply for. You know that you hate this job, but at the same time, you are not sure where's the next place you need to go. Or you might be in this place where you're in this job and you're doing this thing over and over again, but you don't really know what you're doing or what's the point of doing it. You come to this state where you find yourself questioning, is this really what I'm meant to do? Did I study 16 years to get this degree to do this? And that's when you ask yourself, well, maybe it's time for a change. The thing about being in limbo is that you start facing disappointment with your job. The initial excitement you felt when you graduated from university and gone into the working world is replaced with disillusionment as you begin to wonder, well, this is why so many people seem to struggle with finding a sense of excitement at their jobs. You grow disillusioned as you realize that maybe this is reality, that this is all the excitement that I'm going to get. And then you start being filled with a sense of dread. You start hating work. You wake up and you start thinking, oh my gosh, not work again. And slowly, you might find yourself sinking into a deep depression. Well, what are ways that you can overcome this? Firstly, it's about having a bottom line. Tell yourself that come hell or high water, I'm going to be okay. When I was struggling in my first job, the advice that was most helpful for me was this: having a bottom line that whatever happened, I wouldn't let my job affect me in my personal life. Because this job, however bad it is going to take up 8 hours of your life. Allowing it to affect the other waking 8 is going to destroy your life's quality. And so you need to make an agreement with yourself that whatever happens, you're not going to allow it to affect you or the rest of your life. It might be bad for the 8 hours that you are at work, but for the rest of the 8 hours, you need to make an agreement that you're not going to allow it to affect you. Just putting that in your mind then helps you to start taking the other steps that I will list as I move on. So the second thing is to have a routine. In Jonathan Haidt's book, The Happiness Hypothesis, he talks about how your happiness is determined by 5 different factors. And the first one is the set point, or your biological set point, that determines like naturally how optimistic or pessimistic you are. There might be certain genetic dispositions towards depression in your own family, and strangely enough, that does affect your outlook on life. The other part is M, where it is your mental hygiene. How often are you doing things that make you happy? For example, voluntary activities that allow you to find a sense of flow. You might be contributing in a volunteer capacity, doing something that you really like, or you might be doing things that fit your strengths. So, what are some of these mental hygiene activities that you are doing to allow yourself to increase that sense of happiness? The other aspect is the aspect of your fit with others. So this is your relationship with others at work. So if you look at this formula going from left to right, we'll begin to see the other factors. The other factors are your fit with work, which you probably are struggling with, and lastly, the fit with something greater than yourself. Some people might call it God or religion, but Jonathan Haidt's hypothesis talks about how this happiness is found between our fits. In our fits with others, in our fit with work, and in our fit with a being greater than ourselves. And if you look at this is a 3-dimensional hypothesis. So what this means is that it starts from within. So from within you, the things that bring you happiness. So for example, the set point that you have, then the mental hygiene activities like meditation, voluntary activities that use or tap on your strengths, exercise. So these are the things that happen within you, your relationship within yourself. Then it comes with the relationship between yourself and others. So this is the other dimension of the plane, the x-axis, if you think about it that way. Your relationship with others, like your friends, your family, your colleagues. And the last thing is the fit, or the y-axis, right? Your fit between yourself and something greater than yourself. And if you look at it in this 3-dimensional axis, the x, y, and z axis, where x is the relationship between yourself and others, y is the relationship within yourself, and z is the relationship between yourself and something greater than yourself, then you start creating the routines that allow you to improve your sense of happiness even as you are in limbo. And so what are some of the practical ways that you can build that routine? Well, the most helpful thing is to do something like Headspace, which is a meditation app. Meditation is extremely helpful for helping you to feel a sense of awareness towards your emotions and feelings. It helps you to detach from what do you actually feel. Because very often we tend to fuse our emotions with our consequent reactions. We think that because this is what I feel, this is what I need to do to get rid of it, without realizing that emotions are neutral, but it's what you do that gives it power. Let me give you an example. For example, recently I've been feeling very anxious about a job change, and as a result, this anxiety has fueled a lot of negative feelings within me. In the past, I would have coped by eating. And during my first job search, I grew by 8 kg in 1 month as I was unable to find a job. But slowly I began to realize in recent times that just meditating whenever I feel that sense of anxiety helps me to distance and put considerable detachment between myself and the feeling, and to realize that yes, these feelings can come, But these feelings don't have to determine what I do. In the past, these feelings would have come and I would have tried to get rid of it by distracting myself with more food. But now, I realize that I can detach from it with loving meditation. And so meditation can be something very easy. It doesn't need to be with and at my headspace. It can just be sitting on a chair, setting a timer for 10 minutes, and just breathing in and breathing out. It can just be as simple as counting to 10 and then repeating the counts over and over again. The other thing is to let go of performance. You know, in our jobs, we are extremely enamored with this idea of being passionate. You know, this passion hypothesis comes from the likes of Steve Jobs, where it says, love your job and you never have to work another day in your life. Do something you love and you'll never call it work. This passion hypothesis prevents us from looking at a job as a job. Because the truth is that maybe today you really hate your job and you're in limbo, and that's why you want to change. Trying to build that sense of excitement and passion is going to be setting yourself up for failure. Instead, tell yourself that you can be professional about this and to just do your job, accept the 9 to 5 and go home. This sounds extremely discouraging that you have to accept this, but sometimes this might be the most you can do at your current place of work. Trying to search for passion or interests in a place where not much of that is possible, it's just going to be setting yourself up for failure. And so maybe it's useful to just accept that this is the best that it's going to get, and to do your job and be dutiful about it. The next thing that you can do is to focus on this idea of skill building. Just now we mentioned the passion hypothesis. A better anchor would be your skills. Why do I say this? Because passion is like a flower. You can flit from interest to interest over the course of your life and realize that the only thing that anchors you is your skills. Your skills are what determines your value to employers or even to yourself. It's what's going to bring you the greatest joy as you use more and more of these skills. Let me tell you this, even top class athletes are not necessarily most passionate about it. Many of them stop training after they finish their professional careers because training was just too hard. But what they had was that incredible skill level. Today, searching for passion is like searching for a needle in the haystack. It can be like flitting from flower to flower. Anchor yourself instead in your skills. And a very easy way is to first discover what your skills are, because many of us might not know what those skills even are. There are 3 types of skills according to Richard Boles, who wrote the bestseller, What Color is Your Parachute? A career manual for people who are searching for their next career. And in it he talks about 3 types of skills: people, data, and things. And in these 3 skills, he talks about how you can start a very simple exercise when you inventory your skills. Write down 6 stories of how you've achieved considerable success in your life. It can be something simple like organizing a family outing. What were the skills specifically that you did? What was the challenge that you faced? And as you do that 6 exercises, you begin to find common themes in your skills. So as you can see from this graph, there are different skills with people. You can be initiating, supervising, managing, leading, connecting people, healing, curing, assessing them. And as you go through this list of 6 stories, find the themes in them. Then there are skills with data and ideas. So for example, you might be using your intuition. You might be simplifying ideas. You might be making complex data easy, interpreting them. And then the last one is the skills with your things, right? As you can see from this, objects of things might be controlling things, repairing things, constructing things, modeling them. The important thing is not only to know your skills, but more importantly, to develop them. Using the skills and deliberately practicing and growing them each and every day is going to help you to feel that sense of progress even as you are in limbo at this point in time. Ask yourself, are there certain hobbies that allow you to use those skills? Might there be certain voluntary activities that you do that allow you to use those skills? Amplify and use them more and more, even as you find that your job might not be using some of the skills that help you to feel in your best element or in your flow. The fourth thing that you can do is actually to treat it like a game. Well, what do I mean? In treating it like a game, treating your job like a game, it is about taking it as something creative. Take it as something creative. So, as you can see from this picture, it's about playing the game. You know, today you might have different reasons for wanting to leave your work. You might have difficult colleagues. You might find the environment stifling and that you are unable to flourish. Or you might find that the skills that you have are not fitting the skills that the job wants. Playing the game is about living so that you can play the game another day. It's not about excelling necessarily, but it's about playing the game. To be in the game as long as you can so that you can live to fight another day. Many of us come into jobs wanting to give our absolute best. We want to excel, we want to do our best. But sometimes our employers or our supervisors or our bosses don't know how to best use you. And that is not your fault. That is not about you. Finding a better organization, a better culture, a better boss is something that is a journey. It's not going to come immediately. Treating it like a game is about realizing that, okay, you can take this easily. Not everything is going to be perfect. You are not going to be perfect. You are going to fail. And it is about getting up each and every time to dust yourself up and to learn the lessons from them. In closing, I want to share a story of pizza. As you can see from this pizza, it's pretty huge. It's 21 inch and we took a long time to eat it. In your job today, treat it as eating pizza. And how do you eat pizza? You only eat it one piece at a time. Each day, as you go through your job, however difficult it is and however much you feel like you're in limbo, not moving anywhere, take it as eating pizza. Celebrate each and every step of progress that you make, whether it be sending out a CV, applying for a job, or even doing your job. Each day, write down 2 things that you're proud of and 1 thing that you can celebrate progress on. Focus on that idea of skill building. Your job doesn't have to be your life. Set a bottom line for yourself where you tell yourself that this is difficult, but I will not let this affect the rest of my life. Having that grit and realizing that your job is a journey and that not every job will be perfect and that this is a game where at the end of the day there are no players except yourself, and that each and every day the game is about being better than yourself of yesterday will set you on a path of greater happiness, fulfillment, and joy. Today, if you are in limbo, What is the best thing or advice that you've received from someone else? Well, let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to hear from you.